Alrighty, crew. How are we all? Good. Okay. All right. Out of like 10, 10 being like feeling amazing, 0 like death is upon you very soon. All right. If you are uh, like a 3 or under, put your hand up. Like you're pretty close to death. Okay, we got a 3 under. All right. Yeah, almost there. Okay, very cool. All right. We got to isolate you too, so no one catches any sickness. If you're like a 4 to 7, 4 to 7, put your hand up. Sorry. Inclusive of 7, yes. Yep, bang. All right, if you're at 8, 9, or 10, put your hand up. 8, 8. Yep, and there was some people that just didn't put their hand up. So well done. Very good user, the nobodies. Very good. All right. Guys, first of all, thank you all for coming down here tonight on a Thursday evening. We will, I always say this. I think I always say it every time. I'll try to keep it short and we'll get through it. And then I end up talking for like 3 hours and doing something like that. So guys, as a collective, if I start to ramble, just start raising your hands in the air or do something, let me know. Yeah, we'll wrap it up. Okay, it's already happening now. But no, we're going to really try to keep tonight very informative. Obviously, we're here for the pre-Hyrox event meeting. Now, this is freaking exciting. We started this journey all the way in January for a lot of us. Some sort of got into it in sort of Feb. Some have sort of just tagged on, Laura, in the last sort of last few weeks sort of thing. But, everyone here is obviously, we've committed, dedicated in whatever capacity we've had. And, we're just over a couple weeks away, which is really exciting. So first of all, I want to acknowledge everyone here. Well done. And those who even aren't even doing it, just thank you for being here and part of supporting and all the rest. So we're going to go through a lot of stuff this evening. Again, tonight is not just about myself or Tyler or whoever's up here just talking at you, right? Tonight is the night, it's like a coaching session, right? Where it's like, if you've got questions, ask your coach, ask the community, put your input. If you think you know something, or even if I say something that you think is incorrect, just say, hey, I read or I thought, well, this is tonight where we're here to actually get ready for Hyrox and improve, right? Because Hyrox is it's a very new sport and we're still sort of learning and figuring it out as we go as well. So is that all right if I ask all of you to do that, to engage and ask questions and all that? We got that? Very, very cool. So I'm going to get started. So disclaimer, all right? So remember, today is a guide on that note, okay? So as the ones who I'm coaching or anyone who is here and is about to do Hyrox, we might say something wrong, okay? So always read the rule book and get complete clarity, okay? So we've gone through rule book. No information, to my understanding, is incorrect, right? So I've gone through it several times. We've obviously done it, but it's always one of those things that if you're unsure of it, maybe you misinterpret what we say tonight. All right. So what I would love everyone to do, and we're going to share the links as well, is take everything we say, because you're only going to absorb so much of it. You're not going to absorb everything. Go through the rule book, right? And that will help, again, put those rules into your mind, because I don't want you getting to the event and thinking that something was different, something's different, and you're getting caught up on it. And you're like, oh, but Damo said at that Hyrox pre-meeting, it's like, disclaimer, let's go through that. And then that way you can ask questions and we can solve problems together. Sound good, everyone? Awesome. So yes, that's that. All right. So actually, one thing before I'm going to do that, I just want to also acknowledge, just really quickly, just big shout out to Tyler and Jamie here at United as well. We are here tonight at United. A lot of us have done training here. I coach here with Tyler. Me and Tyler are great friends, known each other for a little while, and Jamie too. So, without United and their support and allowing us the space, the community, access to all this kind of stuff, what we sort of have here wouldn't really be facilitated the way it is. So big shout out to you guys. So thank you so much. And we're going to hear a bit from Tyler very soon as well, which is exciting. All right, so event overview. Does anyone, if you don't know what the date is, all right, it is June 29 and 30th. Does everyone understand that? It's 2 and a bit weeks away. So if you accidentally booked your friend's birthday party or something like that, and you're like, shit, I've double booked, put it in the calendar, all right? It is there. And the event, Melbourne Convention Centre, all right, which is really exciting, because where was it last year? Racecourse, yeah, Flemington, at the showgrounds there, which I thought was an amazing venue. But it's right now in the heart of Melbourne, which is super convenient for a lot of us, because it's right over there. If Karine was here, would say it's the short block run. So she would run to the convention center. So it's really exciting, and it just sort of shows as well how rapid and how fast Hyrox is growing, because it's pretty much in every major city. The fact that now last year was in Melbourne and Sydney, now it's Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, and Perth, and it's getting bigger locations, better spots. And Melbourne is a 2-day event, which just shows how big like it is growing here in Australia too, which is really, really exciting. Okay, so we have now this is so if you want to take notes on your phone as well, tonight is one of those nights where you might want to write a few things down. All right, so this is being published by Hyrox Australia, and this was put onto their Facebook page. So there's no official times. This is very tentative. So these times can change slightly, but this is pretty much like what it's going to be or what you need to know, okay, as far as your category and start time. So women's doubles. So who's in women's doubles? Boom, boom, boom. All right, girls are kicking things off, okay, which is really exciting. So it's going to be 8 a.m. On Saturday. So registrations and athlete check-in should be pretty much live from about 6 a.m. I haven't got all that information. Hyrox is pretty good at just punching it out into our email, so you'll get all that with registration, open times, and all that. Nothing has been communicated from them yet, but pretty much like you could guarantee 6 o'clock you should be able to register. I'm going to suggest. I'm going to tell you all those suggestions later. But yeah, you're going to get in early. You're going to get there. So you girls are up first. So you've got an early morning ahead of you. Then we have men open. Any men open here? Boom, boom, boys. All right, so at 12:10, so there's actually quite a big gap there. So there must be a lot of women's doubles, which is cool. So you guys are at 12:10. We got women pro, women doubles pro. I don't think we have any of them here. Men pro. I know we got one over here. We got 2. No. No. So you guys are at 6:20, which is really exciting. So again, in the evening, and then men relay, which we don't have any relay teams. On Sunday, so on June 30th, we have men's doubles. Men's doubles, no men's doubles. We have women open. Women open. Got to sort it out. Yep, most likely be there. Mixed doubles. So who's in mixed doubles? 1, 2, 3, 4. Me and Gab are going to be in that one, which is going to be really exciting. So we're at 150, mixed relay, and then women relay. So they are all the time. So example, like mixed doubles, so like 150 is our start time, but Hyrox will release wave times. So not everybody is going to be starting at 150. So we could be in wave 4, and they'll pretty much be in 10-minute waves. So if we're in wave 4, we're going to be starting at like 2:30. Does that make sense? So that's one thing. We'll get that information from Hyrox. What will happen on the day 2 when you do your check-in? Oh no. They will. Oh no, what have I done here? They will put a number on your arm as well, and that will have also like represent what wave number you're in. So all that information will come through. All right, Tyler's going to get onto that one. Exit the screen. There you go. All right, very cool. I'll sort this one out. All right, in saying that, any questions on that? Any questions on start times? Everyone sort of knows where you got to be. Very cool. Awesome. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to move this on. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to hand it over to the big man, Tyler. He's going to talk some mindset, some success. Over to you, Tyler. Take it away. Boom.
All right, guys. So, I guess officially, I'm going to start this off with a little bit of music in the background, just because I find that sort of helps out a little bit. So the idea for today is I'm a referee warm-up. I don't have the details of what they're there. That's what this guy's here for. Okay. I guess my main focus is how can I help you guys prepare for the event to the best of your personal ability, right? And sort of a quote that has always stuck with me is human psychology will always beat what you think will work. Right? Clear, not clever. Right? So who sort of has thought in their mind and think, you know what, I feel like I can run 5K. Right? Whether or not you've done training to do that 5Ks will dictate whether you can this sort of as, and I want you guys to sort of play with me for a bit. Who sort of sits at these types of events and sort of drones on? It's like, okay, when's it going to get to the point? Chuck your hands up. Cool. Put your hands up. Hands up. Hands up. All right. Okay, a better question for you guys. Who signed up for Hyrox? Hand up. All right. Now, who's all in regards to Hyrox? Hand up. All right. So keep your hand up for me. Have a look around the room real quick. Why didn't you put your hand all the way up?
Because my jacket's too small.
Yeah, maybe that too. Tuck your hand down. Short. Yeah. My biceps hurt. Right. So when you think about the concept of all in, why is your hand not all in like a child? So if I say to you again, act like a child, imagine it's the very first time you're really excited, you're like, oh my god, I get to do Hyrox like this guy. When he talks to you, I love it. Now throw your hand in the air if you're all in for Hyrox. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so that has everything to do with communication, and it has everything to do with how you communicate with yourself. So there's a couple of different tiers of communication. I'm not a fun person. I'm going to put that out right now, but I feel like I do funny things, right? So, in saying that, I'm going to go through a couple of different levels of communication with you guys. So again, join me. First one, so this is not my own. I have seen this before, but I always found it was really funny. I've got 3 words. Air. Air. I can hear my wife behind me. Air, hair, where. Right? You guys all recognize these words?
Yes.
From the beautiful English language. Right? Now, when I say air, I want you guys to repeat after me. Right? So, air.
Hair.
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 Lair.
Hair.
Okay. Now, imagine I'm this regal British man who's just come to Australia for the first time on a boat. Discovered Australia, right? Very tan. Very tan. Potentially a native black man. Let's just go with that sort of my vibe. I'm a regal Englishman, and I have a cute little accent, right? Now, with that in mind, I want you guys to join me again. So we're going to go air.
Hair.
Beautiful. Hair.
Hair.
Lair.
Hair.
All right. So we're going to join this up and increase the tempo just a little bit. So air, hair, lair. Right? All right. Now I want you guys to link this together for me as one consistent word. Go.
Hair.
Hey, hello, nice to meet you. I'm Tyler Adamson. This is United Training Guys. Get it? Right. So funny, not funny.
Yeah.
However, that does have a lot to do with communication. It's about how can I get my people that are joining me on a journey to communicate how I communicate, right? So that can come as simply as the way that you train, the way that you dress. Obviously, all of you guys are doing Hyrox because you're all in black, right? And that's sort of like the Hyrox theme right now. Black joggers. I'm going to run 8Ks. I feel attacked. Right? There's like the way we dress and the way we hold ourselves. There's a level of communication. So I taught you guys how to communicate with me just then, being a British man landing on an island. Hey, hello, nice to meet you. I'm Tyler. Right? So that's sort of one way that we can look at communication. When, especially if you're in a partnership with somebody. So if Tom's going to be my partner, I need to be able to communicate with Tom how I train. That way, Tom can get the absolute best out of me when we're in an event together. Communication, really important. All right. Is everyone sort of with me on that one? This time, you're going to be a bit more active. So jump on your feet, grab the person that's right next to you. So somebody that's to your left, right, whatever. All right. So what I want you guys to do is jump out into some open space in the gym for me. Just jump out into some open space. Okay, so one of the partners, chuck your hand up in the air for me. One of the partners, chuck your hand up in the air. Everyone with your hand up, stay where you are. Everyone else come to me. Bye-bye. Cool, you guys can, bye-bye. You guys can chuck your hands back down, that's fine. So come a little bit closer. Come. So have a look. What I want you guys to do when I say go, just want to do that tag. Alright? Wherever I instruct you to go, when I say go, just tap. Right? Don't communicate it. Just tap. Simple. Right. I'll show you. Good. All set. Alright, let's go back to partners. Okay, so the partner that had the hand up in the air, okay, you are going to be the one that's going to be led around the gym. The partner that was just with me, you're the one that's going to be leading their partner around the gym. So just grab the partner by the back of the shoulders, just holding nice and softly. Back of the shoulders. So Chris, you can cover me. Chris can be my partner. So the example is I'm going to use non-verbal communication to move Chris around the gym. So what it's going to look like is Chris, come with me. Right. Feels pretty simple. All right, 30 seconds, move your partner around the gym. Try to leave away from other people.
Jesus Christ, Jake, slow down. I'm just on Hyrox, yeah.
And relax there. Okay. So, what I want you to do is partners, bring your hands up into there. Okay, join hands, like real cute, right? Look at that. Alright, anybody that was with me that I brought to the middle, go. Relax. Okay, so when I told you to go and I asked you to add pressure, what did you immediately do when you're joined with your partner? You press back, right? You resisted. So the example is, you guys can come back here. Right?
Great communication.
So the key example there is human psychology will always beat what you think will work. All right. So the guys that came into me, I told them when I say go, add pressure, and they added pressure how they felt was necessary, which was against the hands. Questions were, do I tackle them? Do I add? But you figured it out, right? You communicated to your body and you passed that on to your partner. But what your partner didn't know is you were about to add pressure. But what was their natural inclination? It was to resist. It was to push back. Not because you told them to, but that's because that's human nature, right? So our nature is, always will be, it doesn't matter what kind of communication you have, whenever somebody pushes you to do something, you will initially resist until I'm actually staring at the camera, Bob. Thank you. You will naturally resist that pressure. So, contrast to what I taught you first is when you take your partner, you lead them through the workout and say, hey, especially if they're exhausted or they can't communicate to you, they operate extremely well. You guys work together as a single unit, right? So when you're leading your partner around the gym, you're saying here, perfect. Synergy, right? So you push them, resist. Does that all make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. So promise this is coming somewhere with mindset. When we know this about ourselves, and you're given two examples of how you communicate. One being teaching somebody how to speak to you or to train with you, super important. Two, making sure they understand how you operate best. We all operate best when our partner is sort of sherpering us up the mountain rather than trying to push us up the mountain. You'll just fight back, just quite naturally. So remember this at the points in time when you're in the middle of your workout and you're like, fuck my life. Fuck my life. There will be an element of let's fucking go, because that's just what a competition is. But also remembering that person will operate best if you guide them how to go, right? Don't just scream, educate them of, okay, we're just going to burpee this far. Now, if you're trying to do broad jumps this far, it's like, let's cut that shit in half. Let's only go half the jump. Simple stuff like that. Most of us in here are coaches, so hopefully that sort of carries through and follows on. So the mindset is especially as a team environment, even interpersonally as well. Don't be so hard on yourself. Event is an event, but you can do your greatest work, especially if you learn how to communicate with yourself and the people that are around. Okay. Cool. With that all said, thank you so much for joining me with that one. I'm going to hand it back over to Damo.
Let's get off the title on the fine. That was really cool. Alright, I'm gonna just fix this screen real quick. But guys, I just want Tyler's an amazing guy. Like just as a friend, like his mindset and his outlook to training towards life is very commendable, and we've got a lot to learn from Tyler. So we're going to hear lots more about him. But it's going to be awesome to see him take on Hyrox, but also he can do more in this space of like mindset and talking that. So again, one more time, Tyler. Thank you so much. We're back on. Okay, very cool. But yeah, just like I think even what Tyler's touching on there, like obviously, you know, if you've got your partner or you're doing doubles. Yep, thank you. Cool. If you got your doubles partner, like it's very obvious, like push pull, you're communicating with your partner. But also if you're doing this like as a single, right? It's like there's communication to yourself while you're out there, and there'll be people around you and all those sorts of things. So it's so applicable to whether you're doing it alone or you're doing it for other people. And we are a family here. Like we're a team, and we aren't out there competing as individuals, as two people. We started this thing together. We come here together, and this is the communication that we bring to ourselves. So when you're acting, you know, maybe negative or being harsh on yourself, you're being harsh on everyone, right? And it's like when we're positive and we're inspiring, motivating, we're doing that for everyone. So really remember that all those 1%ers, they do matter, and someone is watching and someone is feeling it. So I resonate with that a lot. So thank you again, Tyler. All right. So what we're going to dive into now, okay? So we're going to dive into the rules and regulations. So who is like very interested in learning rules, kind of has no idea about the rules when it comes to Hyrox? Put your hand up if you're in that sort of boat. Yep. Put your hand up, keep your hand up if you feel like you got a lot to learn, or yep, kind of thing. Put your hand up if you feel like you've studied it a little bit and you've got a good idea. Yep, awesome, cool, really, really good. So if you do want, you can, I'm not going to bring up the rule book, but if you want to bring it up, you can either search this on your phone, go to Hyrox rule book, it'll come up in Google search straight away. We've got the QR codes here if you just want to grab that real quick. If anyone wants to do that, I'm going to grab my water. We're going to go through some of the key rules. So again, this is the thing with the event, there are lots of little rules and regulations, but we've just pulled out and extracted all the key ones, okay? So the things that you need to know. Now this is hopefully where we can spark a bit of conversation, all right? If you're not clear on something, if you're not 100% clear, what do you need to do?
Ask a question.
Amazing, love it. All right, so we're gonna get into it, okay? So the weights used for each category, okay? Now this is where I was gonna bring up a photo and dive into it, but if you do go onto the rules, I'm not gonna say all of them because it's just be me saying a lot of numbers, but just really make sure that you understand what your weights are for your category. We've got quite a few mix of categories in here, so I'm not gonna bore everyone with those details, but we can talk about it later as well. There'll be time and space for that. All right, age groups, okay? So if you don't know about the rules, so if you are in the doubles, okay, so if there is age brackets, so you will get ranked in your age bracket and you'll get ranked overall, okay? So there's two rankings that you're actually gonna get. So I believe, and they do mix a little bit, depends on doubles and depends on singles, right? So like in the singles example, there's like 20 to 29, and then it goes 30 to 34, and then 35 to 39-year-old sort of brackets and that kind of stuff. So you can actually come 10th overall, but you might come first in your bracket. So it's something to look forward to after the event, to sort of see where you sit in your age bracket, where you sit overall, and you can get qualifying spots if anyone's sort of playing in that sort of zone for championships and all that kind of stuff based on age bracket as well, which is really exciting. So something to know. And in doubles, so in any sort of doubles event, if someone is like 25 and someone's 35, your age is 30. It takes the average, and that's your age bracket. So then you sit wherever 30 years old sort of fits, all right? So that's cool. All right, you must complete the Hyrox stations in order, okay? Sounds like an obvious one, but don't run in there. So if anyone knows last year, run in there, all the stations are going like not necessarily in order, right? So don't go, oh, let's go start with the wall balls because we want to do that first, okay? You must go to 1 and then 2, 3, 4, all the way to 8. All right, must complete. They are numbered, yep. So, but yeah, one thing when I ran in there, like, yeah, they're not in order. So, because obviously the layout of the floor is going to be different. So it might be like 1, 2, 5, 3 sort of thing like that. So, okay, run lanes. So there is a running track around the outside of all the stations. So the left is what is known as the fast lane, and the right is known as the regular lane. Okay, so if you're out on the course and you're in the left lane, right, and you're like trying to catch your breath, and people are running past you really fast, and they're yelling something at you, it's because you're probably in the wrong lane running. Okay, the left lane is a narrower lane. The right lane is a little bit wider. So just understand that there's 2 lanes out there and just pick and choose the one. It doesn't really matter. But if you're caught out there and you just figure out why you're getting yelled at in one of the lanes, that will be why. Okay, the ski erg dampener settings. Okay, so the ski ergs will be set to a preset dampener setting. So I'm pretty sure it's like 5, 6, 7. So 5 will be sort of like the women's. Women's pro would probably be set at like 6, men's would be set at 6, and then men's pro will be set at 7 on the ski erg. So who doesn't know what I mean when I'm talking about dampener settings? All right, awesome. So on like the ski erg and the roll, you can set the resistance. Yep. So they'll be set at a certain number. So they'll be 7, 6, or 5. All right. So do you know, like example row, what your damper setting is? Where you just sort of get it and rip it and pull it. Yeah, which is very normal too. All right. So so you can play around with it. So they're preset, but you can change it. When can you change it? Before you start skiing. Now, if you're skiing or rowing, right, and you're like, geez, this damper setting is really hard, I want to make it lighter. Can you stop and then change it? No. All right, you can't. So you can only change it once. If you're not really like, oh, I know what my number is and I must have a number, just don't even worry about touching it. Just get on there, rip it, pull it. Before you know it, you'll be out of that station anyway. That sort of just saves that sort of fuss. Okay, DTM. What does DTM stand for? You can be as dirty as you want. All right, so DTM is your doubles team member. Okay, so I didn't want to write doubles team member all the time because it comes up a bit. So when you see DTM, this is gonna be specific to your doubles team, all right? So because in doubles, it's pretty much all the same rules, except obviously when it's transitions with your partners. So so basically DTM, so your doubles team member is not allowed to be past the handle. So when we're talking the ski erg, all right? So on the ski erg, you're going, right? And then you're like, you know how you just sort of politely hand those handles over? You can't do that. They must go up, right? You step off, they step in, and they grab them from the top, and they go. Okay, so no passing. Okay, no passing of the handles. So some of these rules as well, right? Like let's say if you pass the handles, they're not going to yell at you, oh my God, they passed the handles. They might just say, hey, you can't do that, or a warning. So just let this be a reminder that if you do forget, just go, oh, okay, I know what I stuffed up on. Because the last thing you want is them telling you doing something wrong and you don't know why. And then you're just confused. And then you think, you get unsure what's happening. Okay, so we're good on that. All right, so your doubles team member partner must stand in the designated space. All right, so typically there's like a little square. It's probably like a little bit less than a 1-by-1 sort of thing. It'll say like doubles on it, or it'll say something like that. And you typically have to stand there. Okay, all the ski ergs will be in a nice like row, almost similar to like what's over there on the wall. Right, so there's no real room to stand on the side. But you can't, like, if they're here, like, skiing here, you can't just be, like, chilling out going, oh, you're doing good, like, on the side. You have to stand behind them, all right? But you'll see that anyway. That'll make sense there on the day. Sound good? Any questions so far? We're all right? Still good? All right, do we need to do a quick run around the block yet? No, we're all good? We're good. All right, keep moving. All right, doubles team member must always walk behind the partner, okay? So this rule, and I put it here now because it pretty much just applies everywhere, okay? So think farmer's carries, think burpee broad jumps, think walking lunges. All right, obviously if you're running into this, think if someone's on the ski erg, right, you're standing behind them. If they're on the roller, you're gonna be behind them, okay? So just always think you're just like behind your partner or the person doing the work. Does that make sense? Awesome. All right, dampeners can be changed before starting. We spoke about that. But once started, cannot be changed. Okay, so just make that clear. All right, now when you're also on your ski erg or your rower in particular, you get to your 1,000 meters, right? Don't just like run off. You have to get acknowledgement from a judge, right? And the judges are there. Like they know and they're watching, obviously, and they know you're about to finish, right? But if one's not there because something's going on, you got to wave them, call them down. It'll be like no more than 2 to 3 seconds before someone spots you. They'll go, yep, go, and go. Because last thing is you don't want to run off and they're not sure that you haven't finished, or they look at the wrong erg and they're going to point at you and they're going to call you back, or they think you've done something wrong and then they're going to penalize you. Does that make sense, everyone? Okay? Because again, just that extra 2 seconds to get that acknowledgement will save problems, all right? One thing I always like to say is you just want to minimize mistakes. We do it with training, right? It's like you'd rather just take your time, go a little bit slower, but if you minimize a mistake, you're going to go faster. Sound good? Awesome. All right, we've got 2 more pages. All right, sled push. Must stay in your lane. So when we get to the sled push, okay, there'll be white lines, right? You just got to stay in your lane. It's pretty simple. There's lines there. Just don't drive it into someone else's lane. If you do, you're going to get penalized. And I think some of the penalties in the sled push and the pull is like a 10-meter drawback. You got to bring it back like 10 meters. And you have to push it back. So you have to push it back 10 meters, and then you got to push it, go again from there. All right, so don't stuff that one up. All right. Sled pull must not step outside of your workspace. So again, when you are doing the rope, all right, there'll be like a 1.8 meter, I think, sort of designated space there. So if we're looking, it's almost like that much sort of space, right? So you'll see the line. And I was watching the World Championships, and the amount of people who stepped over the line was crazy in the World Championships, and a couple of them got penalized for it. So just stay in your spot. You can walk it all the way back, but when you get there, you don't want to go outside it. You don't want to go in front of it, right? Pretty simple. Just do that one. Okay, so this is a really important one. Now, in training, so when we do sled pull work, all right, what happens when you start pulling the rope in? What's happening under your feet?
The rope gets caught underneath your feet.
Well, it's getting caught up. It's gathering up. And what does our partner, because they're amazing partners, what do they want to do? Exactly, they want to get the rope, they want to kick it out, right? If you assist your partner in any way, you get penalized. So no one touch the rope, okay? So this is the thing that I sort of do as well. So if I've got all the rope around my feet and I'm going to walk back, we sort of worry about standing on it and rolling around. Right? When I'm walking backwards, I'm not stepping backwards. I'm dragging my feet backwards, right? Because I'm kicking the rope out of the way when I drag my feet. Right, that stops the rope getting under my feet. Does that make sense? So use that as a little tactic, because just drag back, get that rope out of your way, pull it in, who cares, once it's there. Now there's 2 ropes attached on the pulls, right? So it's not like we do in training, we got to turn the sled around, pull it back. So once it's down, you just run to the other end, you pull it back. Okay, does that make sense? Awesome. All right, the burpee station. You must start with a burpee behind the line with your fingers behind the line at all times. So the amount of times as well that I see people do like the jump first, right? So let's just say that's the line there. They'll get to the line and they just start with that jump. It's like do the burpee first. So burpee, broad jump. All right, so making sure you're doing the burpee and your fingers must be behind the line, okay? So again, not any part of your fingertip on the line, or else they will start to penalize you for that. Okay, so that's really important to start. And sometimes they will get you to go one way and you'll like turn around. And in that turnaround bit, there'll be another line on the other side. So then when you go to restart again, make sure that burpee is behind the line. Okay? Everyone clear on that one? Does everyone want to show me a burpee just to... No? Okay, there we go. All right, must jump and... I will. I'll show you now. I'll show you a very good one. So we must jump and land with both feet as well. So when we're doing this, we are not sort of like jumping with 1 foot, or if you jump with 2 feet and like do that sort of 2-step. All right, so again, this is line. Everyone can see the line. All right, so if I'm here, fingers behind the line, all the way down, I can go 2 feet here, just jump, land, and I'm going to go again. Another 20. All right, let's go. No. So yeah, if you do sort of get called for something, right? And this is the thing, general rules. Well, don't argue with your judge. Yeah, Paige will be the one arguing with the judge. So because even if
Just reading up, it says your hands have to be down no more than a foot in front of your feet when you do it.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. So absolutely good point. I think I might. Yeah. Boom. So yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Or is it your foot or a foot? Yeah. So we're roughly talking 30 centimeters. All right. So again, if I've done my jump, so I'm going to land here. Right. If I do my hands here. Right. So I'm going to do that one again. You just got to tell me if it's a rep or no rep. All right. So I've done the jump. No rep. Too far out. Way too far out. All right. I'm going to do this now. Tell me if it's a rep or no rep. No rep. What was the fault? The foot. Yep. Okay. Jump. That one's good. Ah, that's true. That's true. So there was another point. All right. So one of the other rules in there. I wrote it down. Let me catch my breath. So if I've seen this happen too. So if you go down, you do your burpee, you jump up here. Right now your hands are here. Right now if you do this, then jump. Right, they will pull you up for shuffling forward. That's to my understanding. Okay. I gotta catch my breath. Jeez, I've got to do some more fitness. I know. No chance. So I always like to think and this is probably something that we learned from CrossFit as well, is you got to just be convincing. If you're borderline and the judge is oh, I don't know, did you shuffle? If you're already doing that, just no rep yourself. Yeah, exactly. So make things convincing. So again, either jump your feet in more, but yeah, because you can't do any sort of shuffling or stepping forward. So if you're not jumping in enough, just understand that you're just going to be doing more jumps. All right. So I believe 5 meters. Yeah. So I'll bring you back. Yeah. Yeah. And I did this last year with the burpees in particular. I had this strategy of I'm going to do it like CrossFit style. I'm going to go step, step, jump, and I'm going to fly through it. And then I got there. Number one, I was fucked. And then any kind of extra tactic I had, I just blew it out the door because you had judges all around you. They were watching you, and I'm like, it just wasn't even worth my brain power. At that point, that's how fatigued I was. So normally my technique is I'm down, 1, 2, I'm just going like that. But my pace was literally and I just went that's what it turned into, because I knew that was just going to be consistent. I knew I wasn't going to stuff it up. I knew, so that was even so if you get to that point and you're screw that technique that I tried to do, just exactly, just go for what you know is going to work, that you're not going to stuff up. So that was something I learned last year as well.
I saw a girl on TikTok literally sleeping on the floor for a minute and then but
that could work.
Rest.
Yeah.
So she was taking her time resting on the floor and then
yeah.
So does it say anywhere in the rule book about you can't do that step behind your hands?
The step?
Yeah. So how you're doing instead of doing doubles. So instead of doing that.
Yep.
If you step like that and then go.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, as long as it's behind your hands, right? So you can't step. So again, the line's there, my hands are here. I can't step, and now my foot's in front, and that's making an advancement. But I've seen all the techniques as well. Even the World Championships, this was one technique. So if they're doing this, they're going one knee, 1 foot, 1 up, and doing that. So it doesn't matter how you get up, as long as your feet are behind your hands. You jump 2 feet, land 2 feet. Again, we did a few burpees, didn't we, crew, today? You trained today? 120, nice. Okay, roll dampener can only be changed before starting. So this is the same. We already covered this one before. Feet. Okay, now we're all human. We all make mistakes, right? Then you might be one of them. So I put a post. Obviously, everyone here watches my stories. No, I put a post on social media, and it was showing the transition with the rower. Now I have to like unteach Corrine, because Corrine, we know Corrine, if I say something, she does it. Now I'm like, shit, don't do what I said. So the transitions that were happening was we come flying in, and this is like, again, very like what we're doing CrossFit. One foot goes in, pull that handle, second foot goes in, and you're away. I think we clearly had that conversation. Gab, you got to do it like this, okay? So according to the rule books, all right, both feet must be in the rower before you can even touch the handle. All right, so that's according to the rule book. All right, so if you do my technique of one in, I deleted the post. Don't worry, it's not there. But the great thing about social media is someone told me straight away that was incorrect, which was great. Opportunity to learn, loved it. So yeah, so when you do that, when you get into the roller, so if you do remember that video at all, or if I've had a stern conversation with you, don't do that. So feet in. Once you're in, right, then grab that handle and give it a yank. Very cool. All right, everyone understands that? Very good. All right, must call over judge before moving on. We all know that, right, crew? Yep. All right, this is the last page we're going to go through on this one. Okay, kettlebells. So when we go into the farmer's carries, okay? So before you go into the lane, it's like sort of like similar to this. So just all the kettlebells are going to be in one spot, right? So like the station might start over there, but you're going to grab your kettlebells here, all right? So what they ask you to do is obviously you're going to grab the right kettlebells, and they'll be clearly marked which ones, to make sure you grab the right weights, okay? But then when you go, you got to make sure you put them back in the right spot. They're really strict on it, obviously, because if there's like 9,000 people going through that course over a weekend, and some poor person has to keep readjusting those weights, they're going to have a very sore back or jacked arms. So you got to put it back in the right position, or else they will call you back, or they'll penalize you. They'll do something. Okay, does everyone understand that? Very good. So if you're doing the carry, all right, at any point, right, you can put the weights down. Okay, so you can put them down. You can rest. You can shake them off. You can have lay on the ground for a little bit. You can have a little nap. You can do whatever you need to do. Okay, and pick them back up and go. If you're in your pairs, okay, so you can go. I can drop, right? Basically, I can get out of the way. The other partner can just come through, pick them straight up, and just go. Okay, so because when we look at the lunges are a little bit more strict. The farmer's carry is pretty safe. Arms must be extended. All right. Mr. O'Brien the other day was doing bicep curls with the right technique. They might be impressed by that. Keep those arms extended. So no front rack carries, right? Nothing like that. Don't try, oh, this is hard, I'm going to rack it up here. Arms must be extended. Okay, that's the carry. All right, we're almost there, people. All right, lunges. Okay, must start with sandbag on shoulders and feet behind the line. Okay, so we're going to be using a sandbag. So you're going to get that. It's going to go on your back. Same deal. There's your line. Feet start behind the line. Then you can take that first lunge forward. Okay. So knee must touch the ground every time. Okay. So again, we got to make it convincing. All right. If we're going and it's like, oh, pretty sure it touched. I'm pretty sure, and they can't see it. Right. Just make sure knee is hitting the ground. Don't obviously break your kneecap. All right. Don't need to make it that convincing. But yeah, just making sure that that's the standard. You cannot drop the sandbag, or a 5-meter penalty apply a second time is DQ'd. You're out. They're going to point at you. They're going to, you get out of here. You're gone. Okay, so, because again, you're lunging, right? And you're like, oh, I'm going to swap with my partner, or I need a rest if I'm doing it on my own. I'm just going to drop it real quick, and I'm going to just chill. Like, ain't going to happen. That's a 5-meter penalty straight away, right? Do it a second time, you're DQ'd. Even if you slip, right? If it slips and comes out, hey everyone, this is Mitch. Welcome, Mitch. All right, you got to say hi to Lily. Mitch, how are we?
So you have to hold the sandbag the whole time.
You got to hold.
Singles.
Yep. So you got to hold it the whole time. So if you're going to rest, it's going to be resting on your shoulder, right? If something happens and you need to put it down, just accept you got a 5-minute penalty, and just don't do it again, sort of thing.
Or you can swap with your partner. If
You can swap.
actually have to rest.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're in doubles, you got your partner there. So if it's getting too much, they're going to take the bag off you, which is going to come to that. Sorry? Correct. So so your doubles team member can only pass sandbag sideways or backwards. Okay? So if I've got the bag there, I know it could like go sideways, or they're gonna grab it off you from the side. Okay? Or like what we're sort of doing today, Gab. So Gab was in front, right? I can grab, put it on my back, right? As long as I'm moving the pad backwards. Sometimes I see people, so if Gab's in front, I see some people like go back to back, grab it off them, and then they like turn around and they go, all right? But you cannot, if I'm going this way, right, I cannot bring it onto the front, pass it forward. That person takes it and continues. That's forward momentum. All right, so it's pretty simple, and like I don't think it's actually more awkward to pass it forward anyway. So you're going to be wanting to grab it from behind, which can be easier. But in saying that too, if you are the one lunging, right, because I think I've seen this, is you're like, oh, take the bag away, right? And then they turn around, right? And then the other person's like trailing them and just goes with them and then grabs them from behind. But now that's forward momentum. Does that make sense? So yeah, just like let them grab it off your shoulders. So like Tyler was saying, communication, right? Forcefully, no. So you can do that. Okay, we're pretty much at the end now. Cool. All right, wall balls must be picked up, and you must stand tall at the start to do your wall ball. Okay, so a lot of times when we have the wall ball on the ground, it's sometimes like we'll rush to it. What we do is we sort of get here, squat, and then throw, like just to save that microsecond, get a little bit extra speed. Can't do that. You got to pick it up. You got to stand tall. Then you start your squat, and then you do your wall ball throw. Okay, they will pull you up on that one. It's just a bad way to start your wall balls. You must hit the target for the rep to count. Okay, so especially over the last few weeks, people training with me, I've been very sure that you're hitting your target, because aiming is very important. Did you have a question? No? Awesome. So the men's is like 9 foot, the women's is just under about 9. Men's is 10 foot, women's is 9 foot. All right, so if the women hits the men's as well, which is higher, it's a no rep. Okay, yeah, you got to hit your target. So don't see it as, oh, but I threw it higher. Shouldn't that be a good thing? Well, you missed your target. So your aim was off, and that's what you're getting penalized for. Okay, so just make sure you hit your target. Yes. Yep, absolutely. So yeah, must be below 90 degrees for rep to count. But yeah, very good question. So in Hyrox, there's sort of been a little bit of like, the what, sorry? Bro reps, exactly. A lot of bro reps going down. So again, if you see someone and they're like not going all the way down and they're still getting their reps counted, good for them, right? Great, good on them. They're getting away with it. But just make sure your reps are spot on, right? So again, we want the hip to go below the knee for it to count. Now, I'm all for trying to find where that line is, okay? So if you're kind of like finding it like very taxing to go low, just like wait for them to say something as well, right? If you get one no rep, just straight away, just go a bit lower, and that should correct it. But yeah, we should all be doing that in training anyway, and that should be an absolute standard. But that might be something you get called. So again, if they're not counting, or if like, because sometimes like they don't even tell you, they've got little clickers, right? So they're clicking away, like 20, 30, you know what I mean? And you're counting, you're like, okay, I'm at 40 now. And then you do 3 more, and they're like 40, and you're like, no, I'm at, like, that's the thing, yeah.
Can you ask them to inform you, say, when you hit a certain number, say 50?
Yep.
Will they inform you, okay, you hit 50?
They're pretty good. They probably will, because like they are just like they're all pretty cool and pretty chill. So if you're like, oh, can you tell me when it's 50? But the thing is, it's like you got to have that conversation. Like it's just wasting time. So if because like they get you to stand like on the other side of the target. So even if your partner's going, it might be hard to have that conversation while they're trying to count, right? So what you got to do there is you obviously got to count your reps to get an idea, but you got to listen to your judge and just go off their count. Does that make sense? If you're getting no rep and you don't know why and it's happening over and over again, instead of arguing, just go straight to them like, hey, what am I doing wrong? Well, they'll probably tell you lower, or something like that.
You said sometimes they don't even inform, but they will let you know if it's a no rep, right?
So I'm gonna say, right, because they're not consistent, right? Because all the judges there, like predominantly are volunteers as well. So you get some that are really amazing, who are going to be the most informative. Oh, go a little bit lower, you're doing great. And they're there, 10 to go, 5, you're going to have some. And then you got some that are just like 10, 20. What am I up to? Just keep going. So that's the one thing that we can't say this is what it's going to be like. You might have an amazing judge, you might have an average judge, you might have an arsehole, right? So just again, worst case scenario, just be prepared for, I'm just going to go until they say move on, right? And I'm just going to squat below 90 degrees, and I'm going to hit my target, and I'm not going to be the problem, and everything's going to be great. Does that make sense? But yeah, you can definitely ask too, but just be prepared for someone who's difficult, and if you get someone amazing, that's even better too.
I'm sure mine will tell it off anyway.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But there's other people there, and there's a head judge as well, right? So let's just say there is a bad judge, they'll probably get corrected on the day, or if something's gone wrong, they'll be walking around too. So shouldn't be a real big one. Yeah, do not go off your count, only the judges count. Oh, alrighty, they're all the key tips there, crew. Now, yeah, we'll come back to it. We'll come back. Yes.
I think you can actually request a box to handle depth.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Yep, amazing point. So yeah, if anyone is struggling, or just say like your legs are tight, like you're cramping or something like that, and you don't, just call out for that box. Last year was funny. I did read about it like the other day, and last year I was like, what are these like boxes around? It was just weird. So that's what it's for. So very good. You can request a box. Who knows Vince? Does anyone know Vince? Vince and Ariana? Yeah. So Vince needs a box. He's a master at shortcutting. God bless you. Franco.
You're allowed to rest between reps?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can do go unbroken. Cool fact. If you do 100 unbroken, Red Bull give you a 100 patch, a Red Bull 100 wall ball patch. Yep. I know that changed the game. Yeah. So it is a thing. Now, the one thing I'm just not 100% certain is if it's for every category or like a pro category. But Red Bull, I saw it on Instagram, so it come from a good source. But I did see the patch, and the guy had it on his bag. It's a 100 wall ball Red Bull patch, which is pretty cool. So Brisbane, here we come. We're getting it done. Okay. All right. Does anyone have any questions or input, anything else to add there to share with the group? No, pretty good. Everyone's pretty good, pretty informed. Awesome. All right, we'll keep it rolling. All right, Damo's tips for the next 2 weeks. All right, who's excited for tapering? To taper for the event, okay? So we're still in our like peak week of training, so everyone's training quite hard. But the next 2 weeks, it's sort of that time period where you're not really going to make huge impacts to your fitness right now. The only thing that you can do by overtraining is you're going to just sort of wear yourself down a little bit right now. So this is a good time to refine technique, refine the body, and just let the body just rest and recharge. Just think your battery is going to be a bit depleted. A few people are getting a little bit sick, a little bit run down. So again, this is just signs that the body is under stress. But this is how we've sort of designed some of the programming for now anyway, is to keep training. And this is very common because we've got the next couple of weeks to really let the body heal. But it doesn't mean we stop training for 2 weeks. It means we're just going to taper off the intensity, slow it down a little bit, and just like, if we are a bit sick, just take the day off, do those sorts of things. So this is going to go into my tips. So to optimize performance, okay? So routine is key. All right, so this is going to be one of my big tips here, is like keeping routine. So especially if we're looking at like taper week or coming into the event, some people start to change up what they're doing week to week. So just staying routine is absolutely going to be imperative. So if you're normally doing like we do like a run on Wednesday, we'll do a Hyrox session on Friday, like just trying to keep that same routine going, not swapping out our run days for different days now. We're doing something that the body is like needing to readjust. Now is not the time to change anything with routine. Okay, to plan your strategy. So everyone who's getting coached by me, we're going to sit down and do a proper planning session. But the reality is like this is the biggest thing. So if you know me, if you've been coached by me, if you hear me talk about training, I'm always talking about the importance of pacing, right? And a lot of the work we've done, a lot of training is all about knowing your pace, right? So to understand what strategy is best going to suit you for the day, go back to what you know about your pace, right? And then that's going to have a lot of the answers as far as your strategy, okay? So like if you know your pace, it's about just trying to stay steady, right? What we don't typically want to do is go out sprinting 100% and then absolutely crash and burn towards the end. That means we are not pacing ourselves. So I think we can all, agree now that we understand it's a long event. Would we agree? Put your hands up if we think it's a long event. Yep. All right. So we got to treat it like a long event. So we got to keep it, more under control. This is the analogy I like to sort of think. If this is like, okay, I'm about to start the workout and I'm like ready to go, I'm fired up and I'm like, all right, I got to like slow it down a little bit. Don't go too hard, right? This should be my pace. It's like, it's not this pace, right? I've got to slow it down a little bit more. Okay, this is the pace to go, I think. No, it's actually this slow, right? So when I say it like that, because every time I've done workouts like this or training sessions, what we learn is at the start, even what I think is slow still ends up biting me in the ass. I didn't go slow enough. It was still too fast. And typically it's not that slow. It's all the way back here. And that's sort of like our hour, some of you, hour and a half, hour 40 sort of pace, all right? So don't get, you're going to get so caught up in the excitement at the start of the event because they put you in a chute and there's smoke and there's a countdown clock and there's all these other people and you're going to be like fired up and everyone's going to go sprinting out of there, but you're going to know your pace. Sound good? Awesome. All right, race week, day nutrition, okay? So this is my advice, all right? We have experts in the building about nutrition. We can talk to them afterwards as well. But like my advice is just keep your food normal, right? The amount of times people like I've seen for marathons or half marathons or sporting events, then decide, you know what, I've got this event coming up. I'm going to eat a lot of pasta like 2 days out nonstop because I'm going to carb load. They get to the day and then all you got to do is take like 3 shits and you shit yourself halfway through the event. All right. So like, don't do that. Number one, but it's like, now's not the time to change your nutrition because your body, your gut is like also in a routine. And if you're going to tell me, yeah, but I need more carbs, right, for the event, well, so do you need carbs for freaking training. And if you haven't been training with carbs in you, then I would then question the quality of your training, right? Because you're not fueled properly. So that's why we don't change anything because training is just as hard as the race day. Now, obviously, we're going to be well hydrated. We're going to have some fuel. We're going to get our sleep, things like that. So, and be fueled. Don't like skip your meal or go, you know what, today I'm going to go keto for some reason. It's like not the day to do that. Hydrate well. All right, when it comes to sleep, this is something that I'm going to really be focusing on with the event because I do get excited and nervous and all the things about this. And typically the night before any event, I get like, if I get 6 hours of sleep, that's a miracle because I'm just like thinking too much. I'm thinking about the event. So I'm really going to now like really control all my controllables. I'm really going to start to like switch off from TV earlier. Like now I've got to start that routine. So it's not like do it the night before bed. So I really got to focus on my wind down. I've got to focus on whether that's a bit of meditation, just get into a routine of how does my body switch off so I can then, again, be more regulated. So the night of the event, I can actually get a good night's sleep because getting a good night's sleep will help you get through that race really, really well. All right, so they're my tips for the next 2 weeks. All righty. Who was there last year? We had Tyler there. We had Jake there. Because you did it last year? Yeah, there you go. Amazing. All right, I'm going to call you up real quickly. Come on, crew. Come on. All right, everyone, welcome them up. Welcome them up. All right.
Thank you very much.
I've just called you up. So we're going to get some insights. I'm going to stop talking. All right. I'm going to ask some questions with you. Just share a little bit of an insight, guys. You got an opportunity to hear from them what was going on. So Jake, what was one thing that you took away from last year that you think would be good for the crew to know about Hyrox?
Last year, especially going from like a road into the run and doing burpees into the run, I really gunned it like as hard as I could, and I really wish I paced it, because then going into a run after doing that stuff, I had to back off the pace a shit ton. So what I would say is, on the stations, don't, and besides the wall balls, don't go 100% all out, because you always got to consider the fact that you've got to run after that, and the run is where you're going to make up the majority of your time. And if you're sacrificing, let's say you're doing it like a station 10 or 20 seconds faster, but it means you're going to have to run probably like a minute and a half slower, then it's not really a good trade-off. So my one tip would be, with the stations, go probably like 80, 70% at a sustainable pace. And so that way, coming to the run, you actually got fresh legs and can maintain a decent pace throughout the whole thing.
Amazing. Awesome. Because, yeah, sometimes we get caught up in the strength, right? And then we go, oh, shit, we got to go back to the run. So, very good. Chris, my man.
Yeah,
Last year, what category did you do last year?
Open.
Open.
Yeah.
Solo.
With the run, remember it's a circuit, so you've got to do laps. So you get 3 happy bands and have it around your hand. And each lap you pass, put it down to your wrist.
I like this.
Because there's a screen there that tells you that someone that can rock, so you want to make sure you're 100% over that. I think it's on the 4th, you get a third lap.
Yeah.
Back in. So yeah, there's some happy bands.
Yeah, I ran an extra lap last year. I should have had those bands. Yeah, but that's a huge point, actually. I'm so glad you said that, because it's really confusing when you're out there running on the track. You think, oh, it's just 4 laps. But when you're tired, a bit fatigued, you forget what lap you're on. I remember there was a guy with me telling me, oh, we've got to run in now. And he ran in, and I was like, no, we don't. And then the next time, then I got confused, and I ran an extra lap. So, yeah, so what are you saying, the band? Like elastic band?
I see that on TikTok. A lot of girls are talking about wearing headbands, but you'll stop it from wrist to wrist.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And girls are also saying make sure you have a hair tie in case yours also breaks while
Ooh. Yeah, it's good insight. Yeah. Now it is to be confirmed as well. They say 3 to 4 laps. So last year was 4 laps. So yeah, 250 meters. But it could change. So we don't know as well if it's a bigger stadium, which might show on it. I know what I did on that note is I had like my watch, and I would run and I turned my watch. So I turned it in. So that was lap 1. I turned it lap 2. I turned it lap 3. And that was the way that I started to count my laps, which worked well as well. That I like. Yeah. It did. Well, hey, I learned that after I miscounted. All right. So before it wasn't good. So it worked. It worked great. Exactly. It just came. All right. Yeah, Tyler. What's something that you learned from last year?
The biggest thing I picked up is, remember, you're running around in circles, same thing every single time. The combine of the runs, you actually lean on one leg. So my one leg cramped when I came into the lunges and the farmer's walk, because you're just leaning, you're turning that whole time. Yeah, almost, because the run last year was like an oval. It wasn't like a box. It wasn't really a box. You literally just went in a circle like that. So it depends on how they do it at the convention centre. But be conscious that when you come into your lunge, it's like, oh fuck, can't lunge on that leg.
Yeah.
You don't get no rep for it. It just sucks.
Yeah.
That leg's fucked as well.
Yeah. So I think on that point, because a lot of us have been running at the track and similar thing, and last year, so just being more conscious of just being more upright, because that's also another way to, like, I know we've been doing, well, I've been trying that at the track a bit more, because you do get into that lean, just sort of pattern where actually just make sure you're keeping yourself as vertical as possible as you can for your run. All right, cool. Any questions, crew, that we got? Insights? Any TikTok, Instagram sort of things that we've seen, tricks that anyone wants to share? Yeah, Franco.
How did your body feel by the time you got to the wall balls? Did you have like a technique to get to those 100 reps?
Yeah, plans.
Well, I had about 7 minutes in my last run, so it took me 7 or 8 minutes in my last run. So I was fine. I can't really run.
How do you think you have a strategy for more walls? I was like, I'll just do 15 each time. It's probably like now.
Yeah.
I think the mixed doubles, so it would be different to these ones in the singles. But with the wall balls, yeah, I think just when you come up with this, you know, like, all right, I'm doing sets of 10 or I'm doing sets of 1 or something.
But when you're in the rock section where the hydration is, remember there's water, there's hydrolyte, and then there's Red Bull. Don't tip the Red Bull on your head.
Yeah.
Red Bull,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The Red Bull was the last one.
So what's the hydrolyte?
Yeah, there was hydrolyte.
Oh, I didn't see that. I just.
Yeah, you didn't spend enough time at the table.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember I grabbed the Red Bull one. Yeah. And like I thought it was. I'm like, surely it's not actually Red Bull. And I'm like, bang, and just like it was. Yeah, it was terrible. Red Bull in event. Yeah, Paige's gonna love it. Paige's gonna. All right, awesome guys. Thank you so much for sharing some insights. Oh, very cool. How we doing time? All right, we're getting there, guys. All right, so a little bit of extra Q&A time. Is anyone anything, questions, anything about what we spoke about tonight? Yes.
Probably research it, but you know when you the athlete check-in in the morning,
Yes.
and then say we're like our events at night, what's the check-in process for?
Yeah. So check-in's open all day. You can. Yeah. So basically, you don't need to be there like in the morning to get checked in. Yeah. So if your event's in, what time is it again? 6:50. Yeah. I'm gonna say like check in like 2 hours before. Is like you don't want to be there like an hour before your event. All right. You want to sort of get there, check. Yeah. Go. Yeah. Exactly. So that would be the first thing. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't seen the 2-day event happen yet, but possibly we can check in on Saturday as well. That's what I'm maybe hoping. But yeah, that's a great point. So yeah, most likely we'll check in on the day. That makes more sense. Hey, it's why we're here. Power of team. All right. Exactly. So yeah, yes.
I was just going to say, what keep on that and I'll ask my question after you finish.
Yeah, all right, we'll go. So yeah, check in 2 hours before, I would say minimum, absolute minimum. That way you can do that first. Don't walk around or don't say hi to everyone, go find where they are. Just go get the check-in done so you got your timing band, which is going to go on either one of your ankles. They're going to write your number, get that out the way, and then you can just focus on like saying hi to everyone, calming down a little bit, and then again, like warm-up protocols. You know, I'm going to go through that in a lot more detail with everyone a bit differently, but I would start warming up like myself, I'd be like sort of 30 minutes out from the event. I'd get into a good 15-minute, depends what works well for you, 15 to 20-minute warm-up. Like it's really light. Basically, you want to just get your blood flowing. You want to get your heart rate up. You want to start to be like sweating a little bit. That's how warm I like to get. And then basically chill out for like 15 minutes before the event. 10 of those minutes are going to be in the shoot, and then you should be primed and ready to go. So yeah, a good warm up is going to be key. But some of the people, and like this is like, for those who are going to plan to be out there sort of an hour 30-ish plus, maybe you don't need to focus so much on a really long extensive warm up because you're going to be sort of pacing a little bit more appropriately for that event. But just mobilize, loosen up, get in there, still get on skis, get used to the sled, just a few little things like that, and then use will be more fine too. So allow that time. You got to allow that time. Oh, none of us here have talked activewear yet. All right, has everyone decided what they're wearing, colors, partners, combos? Is this still a thing? Yeah. Yeah. All right. Everyone, just go black. Go black. Yeah. Jake.
Talk about how, obviously pacing is important because it's such a long workout. And if you're going off feel, that's very subjective. Did you have, using your watch or anything, have more of an objective overview from any data you were having from your watch about how pace your runs better and those things?
It's a good question, technical question. I like it. So one thing that was hard straight away is normally I do everything by looking at my speed and my pace and trying to use that data. But indoors, you lose that pace straight away or it's inaccurate. So what I did use, but however, was my time, is I was very aware because it's a 1 kilometer lap, right? So if it takes you 5 minutes to do there's your pace. So yeah, keep an eye on definitely things like that. That's why, again, pacing is such a big thing that we do, because everyone kind of should know roughly, like, and we know because we repeat so much stuff, what 5 minutes is, what 5:30 is, what 6, and what that means to you. So yeah, definitely in the event, it's one of those things that you want to kind of be aware of it. You don't want to like not look at your watch at any point. You sort of want to get a rough idea, geez, what was that last kilometer? And then, yeah, it is going to be subjective, because we can go in there with a plan of, I'm going to run 5-minute Ks, right? And then next minute, you're like, I'm struggling. This is really hard. And I just ran it at 5:40. And just to be aware of that is sort of good to recognize, all right, I've got to slow it down. Or yeah.
Sorry. Is there a way on our watches that we can actually see what our pace is? And the reason I'm asking that is because when we do the track session, for example, we're pausing or we're doing like the sled push or things, that time adjusts massively. So then when you go back into running, it takes a bit for it to kind of get back to where your pace is. Or either that, or I can't read my watch correctly.
What I'd say,
Yeah, that does happen. It's like when you put, let's say, interval runs on your watch, you start off slower than your actual paces. It takes a bit of time for the watch to pick up on your actual pace.
Yeah.
what you can do is, so when you start the run, say you like start workout or whatever, you do your first K, you go into the ski. After you do that first K, quickly segment it, and it'll tell you how fast that first K was.
Yeah, that's fine. But the problem
Then
is,
before you come out of, as soon as you come out of the ski, segment it again to start a new run.
yeah, but on your watch, it'll still sit because you've not been running for, let's say, that last 3 minutes that you've been on the sled push for. Your average will blow
Yeah.
out.
So
Don't worry about the average rate, and just every time you segment it, it'll say how long it's been since your previous segment.
yeah. So
It's like a
Yeah, but then-
that's what it says.
Yeah, but then I still can't see what my
Yeah.
pace is though.
so
Yeah.
So with this, right, it isn't an Apple, it is a Garmin thing. It's an everything thing. When you're starting a lot and doing intervals, these watches have a lag, right? Some can be accurate, especially if we're indoors. Like, don't trust it. I wouldn't trust it. But that's what we're saying. Don't go off pace on your watch. Disregard it altogether. Go off time, because time is the only true measure. Because again, if you start that time, what Jake is saying, start that segment. Don't worry about what you're running during it, because just know that it's inaccurate on your watch. That's why you have to go off feel. But you're going to then get that confirmation at the end of the 1 kilometer run. Because if that run took you 5 minutes, now you know your pace. But, I think so. Yeah, there's a watch somewhere. It wasn't easy to spot. It wasn't obvious. But there's a big screen with lots of numbers on it. So that's why, yeah, I like to still have my watch on. I just went off my watch last year. I just kept all my data. But like it is also a little bit of a technical thing. Like, if you go off feel, you're probably going to be fine. Like, you know what I mean?
I think it's more like if I'm sitting there going, I'm actually sitting at a 6:20 pace when I should be sitting at 6:40. Like my watch, I can check that on my watch and be like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna slow
yeah.
down.
But yeah, so the only way, especially on an indoor event, is to just go off time. All right, so not what the pace is telling you, because that can. You just go up, just.
If the lap is 200 meters.
Yeah.
And you go, quarter of the lap is 50, and I want to get each one of those done in 20
Yeah.
seconds if I'm doing that.
If your brain can compute all that, yep.
It's something you can work out well
Absolutely.
before you do the race.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, you could, but yeah, I like to just keep it simple. But yeah, like if that's how you understand it, I would advise that's a great way. But yeah, I like to just go off. It's 1K, that's the thing, and it's just a check-in. It's just a little bit of a check-in, really.
Consistent is consistent.
What was that?
So again,
Eh.
So if it's inconsistent, every single 1K is going to be consistent. So if there's a lag at the start of every K, that's actually going to be consistent.
Yeah, well,
So
yeah.
the pace is actually 5:40. Like
Yeah.
if you're on 5:20, consistently hitting 5:40.
So yeah, it can't. Yeah, it can't, because you're talking with GPS indoors. So it just means it might be on, it might be off. Just disregard it altogether. Getting technical there, but But it is a good question because I don't want people getting too caught up on that. Right? The reality is just go off your time. Another way that time was a really good check for me. So I think last time I was running around 440 kilometers, right? And one of the guys was telling me, Tyler, my name, Jack Clark, bloody Jack Clark.
Hey, you ended up dying and again, losing points anyway.
Yeah, because he bloody missed a lap, right? Because he was like, we got to run in now.
No, you didn't miss a lap. I watched you.
Yeah.
Pulled in early.
Yeah. Well, he was saying like, we got to go in now, but I checked my watch and I was like at 2 minutes 50 something. So I was just like, unless I ran a really fast lap, like we can't be running in now. So that's one way that the keeping an eye on the time actually helped serve it, because I know, well, if it was like 440, 450, I should be running in because I'm not running 6 minutes something. So that is a very good question. Oh, okay. If you got any questions, please fire away. Great question, Jordan, too. So on the day 2, I'm going to be there all day on both days. So obviously I'll be there to support everyone at all times. Please be used to having a camera shoved in front of your face. Along this will be a lot of content over the weekend. Guys, if over the weekend too, if you can share anything with me or Hyrox Heroes or Unite or anything like that, share away, which would be really awesome as well. And then over the next 2 weeks, so those who are coached by me, I'm going to catch up with you individually to have a talk about strategy and all that too. So don't worry about that. We will knit out all your finer details. Like Deborah, if you need help anytime, please reach out too. But you got amazing Bridget sorting you out as well. And just general questions. The guys who got the Hyrox group chat, just fire away questions in that kind of stuff. Definitely do not be shy with any of that. And that's really about it. We'll put more news as it comes. But hopefully this was informative. Hopefully you learned something. But again, I just thank you all for just being here and getting together as a group. And just really make sure that we just support one another throughout this journey too. So on the day, we're all family. Make sure you guys say hi. Make sure we're cheering everyone on to the best of your ability. And I think one of our keywords as a group in our last catch-up was, Lily, do you remember it? It was like, be better. Yeah, be better. Yeah. So that was like our key value. We caught up quite a while ago, wasn't it? Now, so this is where I can say that everyone is absolutely ready for this event. Everyone in the room, even the people who I haven't coached, I know are going to be ready for this. So I know some people are a bit nervous and a bit anxious about it, but you got it. And I really truly mean this, right? I actually back myself as a coach, and I know that if I'm here saying to you guys, you got it, I'm not here just to pump you up or, communicate something that I don't believe is true. My goal with you guys and my promise to you was to make sure we didn't leave any stone unturned. We did everything we could with, you're not all pro athletes, sadly. You got lives, you got relationships, you got work, you got all these things going on. So we did the absolute most and maximum we could to get you ready so you can get achieve your goal at this event. And I know everyone absolutely everyone's absolutely achieved that. Okay, so now it's about just getting through these next couple of weeks the best we can, rocking up to the day, just with just being your best, and from there it's just going to be the history books. We'll get it all done and a memory of a lifetime. So guys, awesome. Thank you all for coming. Again, thank you for Tyler. Thank you, United. And this is where it all matters, guys. Again, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Boom. All right. Go eat some snacks.